Hi guys, happy Thursday. Today's check-in's going to be a little bit different than normal. It's going to be a little more formal. I think I'm going to share it on my YouTube channel because I'm going to talk about some information that I think everybody would be interested in. Yesterday I had my day off, which I call my play day. And I am going to try to take Wednesdays off of my work, my cutting and my other stuff, packing and shipping and stuff like that, because I have so many beautiful supplies that I never get to use. And I work almost every day, pretty much every day, or else, when Keith's mom is over, we cook and do other things, so I don't get a lot accomplished, but I need days to just play with my supplies, and I think that's how we learn. So I think that's going to be good for all of us, because then I'll have more to share with you. Yesterday I worked on watercolors. A lot of you know that I really like playing with watercolors. I like that they're so different from acrylics. I have a very tight style of acrylic where I like to do realism and layers and things like that. And to me, the watercolors are just the exact opposite. So it's a good challenge for me to learn how to tame them and work them. And I've been having so much fun with them. And I always get asked what watercolors I recommend. And I'm going to show you my supplies really quick, my favorite supplies. I use Mission Gold Watercolors. They were recommended to me by Peggy Harris, who I trust so much with recommendations because she really tells it like it is, and I don't regret it for a minute. They're beautiful paints, they're highly rated, they're pigmented, and they really are a high quality paint. I worry about people who buy very cheap supplies to try something new, because they do this in the woodworking sector as well, because they're setting themselves up for somewhat of a failure. Now, you don't have to buy every color. The nice thing about watercolors is they mix, but I wanted to show this set because somebody asked me yesterday, and really for the money, this is a fabulous set. This was on Amazon.com yesterday for about $60. It's got 36 half-ounce tubes of paint, which is plenty. You use just a little crumb. I've had my set for probably 2 years already. And yes, I don't paint with them a lot, but they're barely touched. They really go far, and this will keep you happy for a long, long time. And by the time you're through with these, you'll certainly develop your own idea as to what you would like. So besides the 36 colors, it also comes with a nice palette with 36 wells. And what I did is I just put them in chromatic order and I initialed them. And this is really a nice way to start playing with them and to get to know your colors, because they're very pigmented, as you can see. They're very brilliant, deep tones. So they don't really look the same on the paper as they do in the tubes and that, and it's hard to get to know them. To me, each brand of paint is like a language. It's like learning a different language. So, you want to go sap green maybe in one paint, maybe hooker's green in another. And you'll get to know those differences by experimenting and playing, like what I did yesterday. So this set, I'll put a link for it. This is probably your best value, and it's $60-some for high quality paint. I don't think you'll ever do better. So I'm going to put these aside right now and show you what else I did with these paints. I bought these little boxes that have the little half pans in them, and I made my own palettes like this and listed the colors. And that way I have little palettes like that too. You can just pull these instead of having to drag out the tubes every time and use wet paint. Somebody asked me if it's better to get the pans or the tubes, and I think the tubes are better because you can put the tube paint in the pan, it dries, and then you're good to go. You can travel with it and whatever, and you waste a lot less paint by doing this. So this is how I work out of my big sets. And what I do is I swatch them out. This is the Mission Gold 34 color set. This is a 36 color set, so some of these swatches are duplicated. And if you could see here, I had bought the Pure Pigment set 2 to play with, and then this little card was extras. And by swatching them out, you can see the great variance you could get in colors. Pastel colors are usually achieved by adding more water, which is hard to do, as coming from an acrylic painter, you're used to dipping that brush in and picking up a lot of paint. And with watercolors, you really have to control your value by watering it down more and more, and that only comes from practice. Like this little light peach here is actually this deep color, and getting this opera pink to a pastel pink is a challenge. This is why we need to practice, and this is why it's really good to swatch them out. These cards actually match this color, lemon yellow, permanent yellow light, so I can cross-reference until I'm familiar with the colors, and then, you know, after a while and after playing, you'll know how to think, okay, I want a certain color of green, that'll be olive green or whatever, and you'll be able to be more familiar and feel more comfortable with it. So I think swatching things out are really important. I wanted to show you guys that. And my 2 palettes here. And the last thing is the brushes that I used are by Silver Brush. They're absolutely gorgeous, and they will last a lifetime. This is a nice set. There were, I believe there were 4 brushes that came in this set. The big oval, the number 8, the number 4, and the number 1. And I use these stiffer brushes for if I ever want to tap in or splatter, stuff like that. And I do use my regular paint brushes once in a while for watercolor, like if I want an angle shader to do something. But these are the black velvets, and they're soft, they're absorbent, they come to a gorgeous point, so you get a lot of control. I painted almost all of these with the number 8 it was, and I used a little bit on the number 4 too. So get good brushes again, because it'll help you enjoy what you're doing. The silver brush lines have been my favorite. This is just the pigmented set of colors that I swatched, and here's what I did yesterday. My goal here, this was a pattern that I have in acrylics actually up on my website. I'll put the link if you want. This was for a little pin, and I made it bigger because it's easier to practice bigger. And my goal here was to get pastel colors, get light colors. So I played and I layered and I added water a lot, and I guess the key is layering color to get the vibrancy of watercolors in general. You need to do several layers. You just keep adding layer upon layer of color. You don't try to do it all in one step, or it's going to be a mess and all over. And I'm going to try to do some videos if you guys would like to see how to do that. So I tried to get pastels with this little bear, And I used some metallics. It's not sunny. I don't think you can see the shine very much, but I used, this was a fun set that I got last year. It's by Paul Rubens, and it's these gorgeous metallic watercolors. Isn't that pretty? And it has some iridescent colors. I swatched these out too so I could see what they actually look like, not just what's in the palette. And then there's Less Surprise. And I swatched them over like the wings. I used the light gold for, I think I used this one or that gold. And it made them shimmer very nice. So there was brown shading under that, and then I put the shimmer over it, and it made a real nice effect. So I did want to show you that. And then for this little bear, this was one from my new pattern that I'm going to be finishing up today. That bear that I showed in the window, I made bigger. And my self-challenge here was to only use 2 colors. I only used Van Dyke Brown and I used a Sepia. And tried to shade this in several layers again and make it look dimensional and soft and nice. And I did use black for the eyes. And for the highlights in the eyes, a lot of watercolorists use either white gel pens or they use gouache, which gouache is a opaque watercolor. It's something you can't see through, and it does come in opaque or lighter pastel type colors because it has white in it. But if you get a tube of gouache, get white, and then you could put your little highlights back in, or you could even use Copic makes a white, like oh, it looks like a tempera paint. It's a little jar, and it works well too over watercolors. So this is what I played with. I learned a lot, I feel. I'm thinking of doing a video on this bear and showing how I painted it. If you're interested in that, let me know in the comments and stuff like that. And this is what I'm going to spend my Wednesdays doing, is trying to do these like little instructional videos and stuff for the group. So I hope that piques your interest, and we'll see what I do next week to play with. And I'm going to keep working on my new pattern today and tomorrow, and hopefully get it out to you soon. I'm really excited about the new series that I'm doing. The new pattern I'm working on is the first in a series that I'll call Collectible. So we'll see how that goes. And for those of you on YouTube, I'll have a link for my Facebook group, Let's Paint and Create with Sheila Landry, if you're interested in joining. That's really where I spend most of my time on Facebook, hanging out and trying to encourage my members, and we share. And it's just a nice place to be. It's a very creative group of girls, and I think there's some guys in there too. And we encourage each other, we share, we answer questions, and it's a very fun place for us to hang out. So I hope you join us. Well, I hope you like this update. Take care, and we will talk to you soon.